I'm Linda Thompson, and welcome to the Author Show. Our guest today has written Pretty for a Black Girl, Compliment or Insult. Now, I'm sure that every one of us has been told something in passing or directly to us that we looked at as an insult, but if we looked at it in another way, it would be a compliment. We just never know how we're going to take what we hear from other people. But let me tell you, this lady is drop dead gorgeous. Welcome to the show, Aisha.
Thank you for having me, Linda.
Well, tell me a little bit about what brought this book about.
Well, actually, one day I was literally just tired of people telling me I was pretty for a black girl. And, you know, I talked to my husband about it 5 years ago, and he didn't quite understand me until we were about one day, and he started paying attention to comments that people were saying. And then I would come home and tell him about some of the issues I had at work, and he began to realize how prevalent the issue was.
Do you find it's just predominantly against women, or is it the race in general?
It's, you know, interesting. There are several different chapters. One is referring to actually black women say it to themselves as well. Other races, men. So it comes from a variety of different people. It's not stereotyped to one race or one gender.
Okay, well, you're visiting us from California.
Yes.
But it's my understanding that you travel all over the world with your husband.
I do.
When you're traveling all over the world and you're getting this kind of feedback, is it given in a different manner than it is in the States, or are you finding the same attitude all over?
The same attitude all over the world.
Really?
Yes. As if when they say, wow, you're pretty for a black girl, in my mind I'm thinking, so what do you think of my race? Are we not to be attractive? Right. Yeah, and I get that. I've heard that all over the world. I interview different women when I'm in other countries. People look at them a little differently. I mean, but it varies. Not everyone thinks that way. So I'm only talking about the ones that do.
Well, okay, if you interview women in different countries, it's not just the black race versus the white race. It's got to be all the other ethnic races as well. Do all of them feel that way?
I wouldn't say all the other races, but I'll take Italy as an example. There aren't too many other nationalities there. You're pretty much only going to see Italians. However, you will see different Africans or maybe some people that come from Egypt, Lithuania, and predominantly more the darker skin, they kind of get the compliments or the stares from other people.
I'll be darned. So it's not just a thing here in this country.
No, it's
very
not.
Interesting. And you've got children.
I do.
And they travel with you. And how do they react to all of this?
Well, it's funny. I wrote in a book, my son sometimes gets not upset per se, but when people stare at him, he goes, Mom, why do they keep staring at me? Is it because of my skin color? And I say, you know what, baby, you're just, you're a little different, but you're special. And, they're not used to seeing you, our race out here on a day-to-day basis. So.
Okay, so they're getting some culture ingrained into them in their youth, which will make them more accepting all along, but it'll also make them more aware of what other people are saying, so they're not going to duplicate that. What is the content of some of your book? What are you trying to tell people?
Well, Pretty for a Black Girl is actually addressing that comment, pretty for a black girl. Some people view that comment as a compliment, while others view it as an insult. And so for the reader, at the end of the book, I want them to really think about it. Is it a compliment, or is it really, in fact, an insult? The book addresses complexion issues, stereotypes, as well, my favorite, self-confidence. And so at the end of the book, I want people to love themselves for who they are, not for what they're not. That's my message.
That's fantastic. What's the age group that would read this? Are we getting into children?
No, I've had a relative tell me that she's not quite ready for her daughter to read it. She's about 8, 9. But I do think it's a good read for teenagers, because a lot of my responses have been from high school kids. Okay. Yeah, and it's ironic, here we are in 2009 and we still have complexion issues. So I think it's a good read for high school students.
Particularly here in Arizona, we have racial profiling, but it's against the Latinos. And so you see it no matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
And it's really sad, and I'm glad to see that somebody's bringing this out into the forefront. Tell us a little bit about how you were able to overcome these comments and develop the persona and the self-esteem that is just exuding from you.
Well, you know, growing up in Fresno, California, there is it's a variety of nationalities. Right. Also in my family, in my genealogy, we have every race imaginable. I'm telling you, like Filipinos, Caucasians, Indians, we just have a wide variety of people. So I think it has always helped me be more open-minded towards any circumstance, and that has helped me write this book. And you know, I want to show people that it's okay to talk about issues. If you don't talk about it, things won't change. I actually did a video on YouTube about 2 years ago. As I was writing this, I wanted to see how prevalent the issue was. So I broadcast myself, and I got a whole great response of all kind of people. And that really helped me to see that this does, in fact, need to be discussed, because people have heard it. People, white people, black people, everyone has heard it.
Are you planning to go out and do speaking on this,
yes,
particularly to younger people?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fantastic,
that
because you definitely got a lesson. It's my understanding that you kind of talk about yourself as a small town girl with big ideas. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from?
Well, Fresno has always been generalized as small town, although now our population is growing. Mm-hmm. But people always look at Fresno like we're just the little nobody sitting in the country, and I'm like, well, Fresno is actually growing. It's getting pretty city-like. But you know, as a little girl, I just always imagined that I would do something, that I would speak to people. I just wanted to change the mindsets of others one way or another. And this topic is really helping me do it.
That's great. Okay, we're starting to run out of time. But I would like you, in about 60 seconds, to give one piece of advice to our viewers today of how they would handle this.
Handle the comment?
Right.
You know, people, like you said, people say things without thinking. So sometimes we can't get too upset by what someone says. You know, they're uneducated about the topic, or they may not even mean to offend you. But when you sit back and realize what they're saying, I mean, I didn't respond to someone negatively. I just realized that there was something I needed to do about it, and that's speaking about it. You know, God created us all special. He said that He created us fearfully, and so I just think that we should love ourselves for who we are and not focus on what we're not. We all have a special quality about us.
Aisha, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me. I appreciate it.
Interesting subject. We need possibly to think a little bit more about what we say before we say it instead of after. We never quite know who's going to receive our message in either a complimentary way or an insulting way. And Aisha's got a very good message here in Pretty for a Black Girl. I'm Linda Thompson. We hope you join us next time. And don't ever forget, a book can change a life one word at a time.